Thank you, Advocate. Thank you, Chief Justice.
Chief Justice, could I just follow up on this question?
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I suppose, Advocate Hafi, this point about law at the crossroad of transformation, as posed to you, goes back to your history. I think that's why the Commissioner is saying that you've been at the forefront of using law as an instrument of justice in your work, for instance, for employees, so-called employees of labor brokers, in your work on behalf of farm workers, or both of those being extremely vulnerable groups that are super exploited. Even though your answer is an exasperated one about the limits of the law, but there is also a potential of the law, and it can be exemplified in what struggles have been engaged inside a courtroom and what have been the successes of those struggles. I mean, I think if we all shrugged our shoulders, then we must close this commission. But the reason we are here is because we think that there is scope for using the law to transform society. The question is, how will that happen? How have you done it in the past? Because the Commissioner is asking about your background. And what are you planning to do about it now that you're going to be a judge?
I think that goes back to that question of access to justice. The law can only be used to transform society if people have access to it. And I think I've spoken to that, and that has to do with issues of representation, issues of social power, issues of language. When it comes to being a judge, one, of course, sits in a completely different position. As an activist, as a trade unionist, as a citizen, and as an advocate, it has been possible to take on social impact cases that might not otherwise have been heard, that contribute to building the law and to modifying the common law. One steps into a very different position as a judge. As a judge, one shows up not as oneself, but as a functionary within the system, and one then sits as a representative of the overall legal system itself, and the system of precedent and the system of legal rules becomes very important. And that is important to appreciate, because without a commitment to the rule of law, the entire system won't work. So I think there's a big difference between being an advocate for transformative justice and being a judge who, in the greater scheme of things, is upholding the rule of law in the bigger system itself, so that it can function correctly and so that law can be knowable and certain and consistent for everybody who approaches the courts.
Are you saying that judges cannot be advocates of transformative justice?
They are not advocates of transformative justice beyond what is mandated by the Constitution and by the statutes that they wield.
Thank you, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Advocate.
Good afternoon.
I'm finding your